You're lying there, staring at the ceiling again, aren't you? Your thoughts are racing, your soul feels restless, and deep down you know something has to change. This isn't just another off day. It's the weight of every promise you've broken to yourself. You keep saying tomorrow, but tomorrow is the greatest lie you've ever believed. It's the shield you hide behind, the excuse you whisper when it's time to move. But let me tell you something no one else will. You don't need more time. You need more truth. Because the life you want, it's on the other side of the battle you keep avoiding. This video is not for the faint of heart. It's not entertainment. It's a war cry. A full-blown call to destroy the old version of you and step into the fire that will forge your true self. We're going to uncover 8 brutal Stoic laws that do not coddle, do not comfort, and do not wait. These laws demand your discipline. They demand your soul. They are forged in the spirit of Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, men who didn't just talk about resilience, they lived it. These aren't quotes to make you feel good. They are truths designed to rip excuses from your grip and replace them with strength. If you're tired of mediocrity, if you're done being ruled by weakness, then stay. This is the moment that begins your transformation. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Share this with someone who's drowning in comfort and calling it peace. And comment below, I will not wait for tomorrow. I act now. Because that's where it starts. Right here. Right now. With you. Law number 1. Control your first hour. The battle doesn't start when you get to work or face the world. It begins the second you open your eyes. That first hour of the day decides whether you lead your life or get dragged through it. When you reach for your phone the moment you wake up, you're not checking updates, you're surrendering your mind. You're handing over the steering wheel to chaos before you've even stood up. The Stoics understood this deeply. They believed discipline was forged in the quiet moments, long before the world could invade your mind. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal, selfishness, pain, and failure every day, yet he never expected peace. He prepared himself for it. Your first hour must become your fortress. Don't start it with noise, with distraction, with weakness. Start it with breath, with clarity, with fire. Light a candle, not a screen. Stretch your body, not your excuses. Choose discipline before comfort. Because once you command your morning, the rest of the day bows to you. This is not a routine. It's your declaration of war against the softness that keeps you average. It's where you remind yourself of who you are. The man who rises while others sleep. The warrior who trains when others scroll. The king who owns his time. Guard the first hour with your life. Because if you master that, you've already won the day. Law number 2. Kill the voice that wants comfort. There's a voice living in your head that knows exactly how to control you. It doesn't scream. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It tells you that you've earned the right to take it easy, that one more hour of sleep won't hurt, that skipping the gym today won't matter. It wraps its lies in softness, in comfort, in sweet-sounding excuses that sound like self-care but feel like self-destruction. This voice is not your friend. It is not your guide. It is a parasite, one that feeds on your discipline, one that grows stronger every time you obey it. Epictetus said no man is free who is not master of himself. As long as this voice has power over you, you are not a master. You are a prisoner. Every time you hesitate, every time you flinch, that voice tightens its grip. It convinces you to delay your goals, to abandon your vision, to trade progress for comfort. It's not just stealing your time. It's stealing your potential. Stoicism teaches you that discipline is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It is the only thing that can sever the chains of that internal traitor. When the voice says tomorrow, you answer now. When it whispers take a break, you respond with action. The voice does not want your happiness. It wants your surrender. But you are not here to surrender. You are here to rise. You were not built to be coddled. You were built to endure, to sharpen, to evolve through fire and force. Every act of discipline is a strike against that voice. Every push-up, every early morning, every decision to do what is hard carves away at the weakness that tries to own you. Over time, the voice grows quieter. Not because it disappears, but because you stop listening. That is how a Stoic moves through the world. Not reacting to softness, not swayed by fleeting pleasure, but governed by the clarity of purpose. You are not a slave to that whisper anymore. You are the storm. You are the architect of your power. You are the one who chooses discomfort on purpose, because you understand that the pain of discipline is always better than the regret of surrender. Kill the voice. Crush it under your ambition. Let it scream as you climb higher than it ever imagined possible. You are not here to survive. You are here to dominate. Law number 3. Embrace the pain of growth. No one wakes up wishing for pain. No one craves suffering. But the truth is, growth never arrives wrapped in comfort. It comes through struggle. It is born in fire. You want to become stronger? Then you must be willing to be broken first. The man who never faces pain never evolves. Every time you avoid discomfort, you delay your transformation. Every time you run from the fire, you rob yourself of the very thing that was sent to forge you. Seneca said it best. No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. What does that mean? It means without resistance, without pain, without challenge, you remain soft. You remain untested. You remain incomplete. True discipline demands that you step willingly into the fire, not to suffer, but to be refined. The muscle must be torn to grow. The spirit must be tested to awaken. The mind must be stretched to strengthen. And each time you endure, each time you embrace the pain rather than flee from it, you emerge closer to who you were meant to become. Most people live their lives in retreat. They run from anything that makes them uncomfortable. They hide from challenges. They fear the burn. But a Stoic understands that the burn is the beginning of strength. That pain is not something to fear. It is a call to rise. It is the forge in which greatness is made. You think you'll evolve without sacrifice? Without being broken down and rebuilt? You won't. There is no version of you that is stronger, smarter, sharper, that does not come at a cost. So pay it. Pay it now. Lean into the pain. Don't resist it. Welcome it. Invite it. Let it tear you down and build you back up. Let it humble you and harden you. Let it strip away the weakness you've been hiding behind. Because on the other side of that pain is power. On the other side of that suffering is the version of you that doesn't quit, doesn't fold, doesn't fear the fire anymore. Growth isn't a gift. It's a battle. And those who win that battle do so not because they were lucky, but because they chose to bleed for the life they were meant to live. So stop fearing the discomfort. Step into it. Own it. Because if you do, no one, not even life itself, will be able to stop you. Law number 4. Let go of the need for approval. You have spent too much of your life waiting. Waiting for permission. Waiting for validation. Waiting for someone to tell you that you are finally enough. But here is the raw truth no one ever told you. That permission is never coming. That approval you seek will never fill the void inside you. And that the world is too busy to recognize the silent battles you fight. You scroll through endless highlights of other people's lives hoping to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be praised. But a Stoic man does not live for the eyes of others. He lives for the voice inside him that tells him whether he stood tall when it mattered. Marcus Aurelius said you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. He was not being poetic. He was reminding you of something most forget. Your time is limited. Your mission is sacred. And no applause will ever carry you through the storm. Only your will can. Only your commitment to your purpose can. And yet, here you are hesitating because someone out there might not approve. Let it go. Let go of the idea that you must be seen to matter. Let go of the belief that your worth is determined by someone else's recognition. It is not. The Stoic path is not walked in public. It is walked in silence. It is walked in darkness. It is walked alone. And that is where your greatness begins. When you stop seeking eyes to admire you and instead fix your eyes on the mission ahead. When you release the craving for validation, you unlock something unshakable. Freedom. Freedom from expectations. Freedom from needing to be liked. Freedom from the invisible chains that kept you small. What matters is not who applauds you. What matters is what you build when no one is watching. What matters is how you hold the line when the crowd goes silent. You were not made to beg for attention. You were made to command respect. And respect is never given to the one who seeks approval. It is earned by the one who stands firm in his values and never flinches. So burn the script they handed you. Stop waiting. Stop asking. Stop explaining. You do not need to be seen to be powerful. You only need to move with purpose. Keep going. Keep building. Keep rising. Because once you free yourself from the need to be understood, you become impossible to ignore. Law number 5. Embrace the stillness of the mind. The world is screaming at you from every direction. Your phone vibrates with noise. Notifications claw for your attention. Your mind jumps from one thought to another without pause. And in all this chaos, you have forgotten the most powerful thing a man can hold. Stillness. Not the absence of thought, but the command of it. Not silence from the world, but silence within it. The Stoics knew this truth. That your mind is either your fortress or your prison. And if you let the noise in, if you let distraction dominate, you will be a slave. You will live your life reacting to everything, but never mastering anything. The modern world wants you addicted, weak, scrolling endlessly through nonsense, waiting to be told who you are. But Marcus Aurelius wrote that wealth is not in possessions. It is in few wants. And Epictetus reminded us that the key to freedom is not in gaining more, but in needing less. You do not need more input. You need space. You need silence. Because in the quiet moments, when you strip away the clutter, you finally hear the voice that matters. Your own. That voice has been buried beneath stimulation, beneath distraction, beneath 1,000 shallow thoughts. But when you choose to shut it all off, when you step back and breathe, when you reclaim your mornings and command your evenings, something shifts. Your mind clears. Your purpose sharpens. And with it comes clarity. Clarity is not something you find by accident. It is something you carve out. You wake up early not to be productive, but to be present. You meditate not for peace, but for precision. You disconnect not because the world is evil, but because your mind is sacred and it must be guarded like a temple. Without stillness, there is no wisdom. Without wisdom, there is no direction. Without direction, you are a leaf in the storm, never moving with power, only reacting to pressure. But when you claim stillness, when you defend it like your life depends on it, you become immovable. You are no longer swayed by opinions. No longer weakened by temptations. You are anchored in something deeper. Something unshakable. And from that stillness, you rise. With calm eyes and a focused mind. The noise fades. The truth returns. And in the silence, you remember who you are. That is power. That is Stoicism. Law number 6. Embrace your responsibility. Every part of your life is your reflection. Your thoughts, your habits, your routines, your failures. They are not the fault of the world. They are not the fault of your parents or your job or your past. They are yours. And until you take responsibility for them, nothing will change. The Stoics never blamed fate. They never cursed the gods or the chaos of the world. Instead, they looked in the mirror and said, I am the cause. I am the cure. Seneca wrote that we suffer not because life is short, but because we waste so much of it. And that is the hard truth most people run from. That the life you have is the life you've built. With every decision you made. With every moment you ignored. With every excuse you repeated. But this truth is not meant to shame you. It is meant to free you. Because if your life is your responsibility, then your future is in your hands. You do not have to wait for change. You do not have to beg for better days. You can create them. Right now. But only if you stop running from ownership. Responsibility is not punishment. It is power. The moment you stop blaming is the moment you start building. You begin to take control not just of your outcomes, but of your mindset. You start setting standards, enforcing discipline, protecting your time, and honoring your word. When you say you will wake up early, you do. When you say you will train, you train. When you say you will build your business, fix your body, sharpen your mind, you stop talking and you act. Because the man who takes responsibility no longer needs permission. He no longer waits for opportunity. He creates it. And while others complain about the world, he conquers his corner of it. Responsibility is not about control. It is about direction. You may not control what happens. But you control how you respond, what you tolerate, and what you pursue. The man who owns every part of his path, even the failures, even the pain, is a man no one can break. Because he does not run. He does not deflect. He adapts. He learns. He evolves. That is why Stoicism is not a philosophy of avoidance. It is a philosophy of action. You want a stronger life? Start by taking full, brutal, relentless responsibility for it. Because once you do, no one can stop you. Not the past. Not the world. Law number 7. Master the art of consistency. Most people live their lives in bursts. 1 week they're motivated. The next they disappear. They start strong, loud, proud, full of fire, but that fire burns out the moment life gets uncomfortable. And that is why they fail. Not because they lack talent or opportunity or luck, but because they cannot keep going when it stops being exciting. The Stoic path is not for those who need applause. It is not for those who rely on adrenaline. It is for the one who can wake up every day, in silence, with no praise, and do what must be done. Marcus Aurelius said that what we do now echoes in eternity. And that echo is carved not by what you do once, but by what you do every single day. Discipline is not about grand gestures. It is built in the quiet moments, in the decisions no one sees, in the workouts when no one is watching, in the writing, the building, the grinding, that happens long before the world notices. Consistency is the reason the weak stay weak. They wait for motivation. They wait for clarity. But clarity comes from doing. You act, you learn, you adjust. And then you do it again. You do not break your word to yourself. You do not negotiate with your feelings. You show up whether you feel like it or not. That is the difference between a Stoic and the average man. A Stoic does not ask if it feels right. He asks if it is aligned with his purpose. Then he moves. The gym is not an option. The grind is not optional. The progress is non-negotiable. Because he understands that life will never wait for him to feel ready. He must act now, in the cold, in the rain, in the silence. Especially in the silence. You want to become unstoppable. Forget perfection. Forget motivation. Master consistency. Because that is the rarest skill of all. The one that separates the dreamers from the doers. The ones who say they want it from the ones who prove it. One day of action is noise. 1 year of action is transformation. So build the habit. Stick to the path. Sharpen your sword every day. And when the world finally sees the man you've become, you won't need to speak. Your results will do the talking. Law number 8. Confront the fear of failure and rise beyond it. You have been conditioned to flinch at the thought of failing, as if failure is a final sentence, a wound you can never recover from. But the truth is far more powerful and far more liberating. Failure is not the end of the road, it is the beginning of your awakening. Stoicism teaches that the obstacle becomes the way, that what stands in your path is not there to defeat you but to forge you. You were not born to hide from fire. You were born to walk through it and emerge transformed. Every time you shrink from fear, every time you hesitate because of what might go wrong, you hand over your power to something that only exists in your imagination. Fear is a ghost, and failure is its mask. But when you stare it down, when you refuse to flinch, it dissolves into nothing. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is endurable, then endure it." Stop worrying about the fall and start thinking about what happens when you rise from it. Do you know what separates the unstoppable from the forgotten? The unstoppable do not care about the opinions, the stares, the doubts. They know failure is a furnace, and they step into it with open eyes and a clenched jaw. They do not just survive failure. They devour it. They bleed, they crawl, they endure, and in doing so, they become unbreakable. You will fall. That is certain. You will make mistakes. You will feel pain. But none of that defines you. What defines you is what you choose to do next. Do you wallow in shame or do you rise with even more fire in your eyes? The answer to that question decides everything. Failure reveals your edges. It shows you what still needs sharpening. Do not waste another second fearing the very thing that will shape you. Lean into it. Chase the risk. Embrace the possibility of falling because that is how you learn to fly. You were not built to play it safe. You were not born to aim small. You are here to become a force of nature, and the only way to do that is to let go of the need to always win. Instead, aim to grow. Every stumble, every setback, every bruise is part of your becoming. Let the world laugh. Let them point. You are not walking for applause. You are walking toward power. Fear of failure will not own you anymore. From this moment forward, you look it in the eye and you say, "I will not be stopped by shadows. I will be moved only by purpose." That is how you become unstoppable. That is how you walk the Stoic path. You've just walked through the 8 brutal Stoic laws that were never meant to comfort you, only to awaken you. But listening is not enough. Understanding is not enough. Nothing changes until you act. These laws are not just ideas. They are commands to rise, to dominate your time, to control your mind, to silence the voice that feeds your weakness. You were not put here to chase pleasure, to seek approval, to beg life to be easier. You were born to face fire and transform through it. Discipline is not a trend. It is the only path to freedom. And if you're still waiting for motivation, understand this: motivation is fleeting, but mastery is built in silence, in discomfort, in the moments no one sees. This was never about them. It was always about you. The man who gave too much. The one who lost himself chasing comfort. Now, it's your time to rewrite the script. So if this hit you, if it pulled something out of you, then do not scroll past. Like this video. Drop a comment below, say it loud: "I do not fold, I do not chase, I rise." Share this with a warrior who's ready to rise with you. And make sure you subscribe, because this is just the beginning. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more men who are focused, grounded, and untouchable. Stay sharp. Stay grounded. And build your Stoic legacy.